making a video. Yeah, bad hair day. I just don't get this hair thing anymore. Yeah, anyway. In the context, it's funny. Trust me. Anyway, response video to yes. Jeez. Definitely. Anyway. Food blogger commits suicide. Okay. You could say so many things. You know, these. Of course, it's going to be one of these. Buck up. It's all going to be okay. Don't worry. Invest some more money in the market. The market's fine. It's just that little dip. Don't worry about it. Let's keep investing. Invest. Your life will do something. Don't worry. Invest. You know, you're $1 million in the hole, and these people are. Yeah. Keep throwing some more money at it. It'll get better. Yeah, sure it will. And why are they doing that usually, right? It's because they have to do it for themselves, their own psychologists, and I get other people to invest in the market or all my stocks will go down, kind of a thing. And that's all this whole human life thing runs on, is this stupid optimism crap. This stupid you're winning thing. You just keep pretending you're winning. Okay, sure you are. You know, there's so many contexts to this. You know, I mean, again, the biggest problem is that, yes, people don't make any of these life decisions or have any of these life conversations, you know, at the end, after they went through the Alzheimer's and they went through all this shit and blah, 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 and then they saw a real videotape of their real life, which was a disaster. So, you know, my landlord just died, and, you know, he was, you know, the last few years just horrible. And, you know, everything's all wonderful in the end, though. The story is rewritten. You know, it's a happy domestic life. The kids are all wonderful. Everybody loves each other. Everything's great. Everything was fantastic. Boy Scouts, blah, 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 blah. And the reality wasn't any of that shit. But that's just all this rewriting of reality. You know, this pretending. Let's all pretend it's game, it's worth playing. Let's all pretend it's all good. Blah, 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 blah. And let's pretend we give a fuck about these poor suckers who finally have to acknowledge, yeah, I'm $1 million down and there's just no point in spending another dollar on this bullshit of an existence. And instead of applauding and saying, way to go, you know, lament, let's have a fake lament party and let's all pretend we gave a shit about the asshole, which nobody did anyway. And even if you cared in some kind of superficial way, you didn't care in a meaningful way because it doesn't mean anything to you. Except somebody's out of the market. No, that means the market might go down. You know, the optimism in the world might go down. So let's fight that. Let's resist that. Let's stop that from happening with faith and hope and charity. I'll be charitable. You know, and charity means something stupid like, oh, I'll just call you a psycho after you're dead. Yeah, that's my charity to you. I will eulogize you as somebody who just didn't think hard enough. Yeah, somebody who didn't wish and hope enough. Oh, fuck. So anyway, you know, it's just so, it's such a pile of crap. You know, life is just bullshit psychology. You're all just saying something like, oh, well, if you play enough soccer, you'll learn to love it. You know, and then need it, you know, and then be desperate for it, and you know, and then if I, you know, and look at the, you know, this, you can't even pass judgment about somebody rational jumping off a building, even in civilization, when you just think about how desperately stupid people, you know, in the world, how people are living, for fuck's sake, and you know you wouldn't want to live that way. You wouldn't want it. There's no way you could take you from your dependencies and addictions and throw you in that world and say, yeah, you're going to be happy. No fucking chance you're going to be goddamn happy. You're going to be terrified and miserable if you had to live that life. So this is just all, you know, it's like if you're raised with money, right? You're addicted to your privileged existence. There's no way you're going to go to work 8 hours a day for 15 or 20 or 30 years. I mean, that isn't going to happen without you being horrifically miserable. So yeah, so this is all just saying that, oh no, you need to be one of us life livers and have the dreams and joys of, oh, you know, the whole, you know, she even mentioned kids and stuff, and oh, Jesus, don't even want to get on that subject, but what a lie. Oh, it's all going to be wonderful. It's going to be fun and oh, fantastic. And yeah, if you don't take it at all seriously, it'll be all of that shit. But that's the, it's also, all of it is just so vacuous. Because even if you got what you wanted, you probably want too much. It's probably kind of selfish. You're probably going to use up the best years of somebody else's life to make you happy. Um, just the nature of this game just absolutely fucking sucks. I mean, you're either going to be a slave to somebody else's existence or they'll be a slave to your existence. And both of you might do neither one of you any good. So you both end up losing. It's just. Anyway, so let's play some of this shit and we'll just play with it. That's what we do.
You don't think, oh, if only he'd have seen a helpful YouTube video, everything would have been alright. And sometimes you don't even know what's making you depressed, so you're helpless. You can't put anything into action because you don't know what it is. I understand.
Well, you understand that, but that's rather presumptuous. Usually people know why they're depressed, and yes, there's a competitive thing, all that kind of crap, but let's not deny it. That's the nature of the organism, and this pretending that the losers aren't really losers. You're just going to sit there and lie to them to make them feel better. I mean, if people could, if the average person could actually hear what other people are saying in their heads, what, do you think they'd feel better? What do you think would be happening in the world? I mean, if you legalize suicide, I mean, really made it legal to just say, oh yeah, no, I don't really like playing the market. I don't like this whole lose, win 10%, lose 90%. I don't really want to keep playing the invest your life game. Let's roll the dice for another day and see what kind of fuck is going to happen. And it can happen, and it can happen in just awful, brutal, horrid, just absolutely disgusting ways. I mean, you're here today, and then tomorrow your face is, deformed, and like a tie rod. There's tie rods on cars. I think you have a tie rod sticking out of your head.
But I wanted to comment on the milder negative feelings that we all have. What you realise when you look back over difficult times is that...
Yes, is that, man, I was stupid. Why did I put up with that shit? I'm more invested. Oh, okay, I lost another $1 million. I have another big, huge credit card bill to somehow make sense out of. Somehow I'm going to make enough in the future to pay off all this misery I've had to walk through. But yes, it does go away. Okay, yes, it's all in the past, so we can just forget about those losses and just keep moving forward.
There actually was hope, even at your lowest...
Hope for what? Hope that you'll eventually get old and die. Oh, good. Yes, that'll be wonderful. I should wait for death. I should wait for it to come naturally. Whatever. I mean, once you're over it, you should just be over it. Yeah, that's the great thing about it, is if you're done with it, if you're hopeless, yeah, stay that way and act on it appropriately. But you can't really say that, right? No, you can't say that because that's what? Oh, that's conceding. Yes, it's conceding that you're just gonna do this stupid wavy line shit. Yes, there might be a future day where you go, oh, that was really good. But it really won't mean anything more than a warm bath.
Points. There was still joy ahead of you. You can
joy. What is that? Again, what compared to what? Compared to a warm bath? Yeah, it'll be what? What will be the form of this joy? And how long will it last? Like I said, you can see it. You can see it in people who win the lottery. They get it all, and 2 weeks later, all of a sudden, they seem awful stressed and worried.
I see that in hindsight. And when you're in the...
Well, that's the cool word, right? It's hindsight. That, yes, you start learning, you start figuring out what the game is, and then the game gets worse and worse and worse. I mean, it really doesn't get any better. This whole lie that getting old is fun is bullshit. Old in the real sense. It just starts taking things away from you. Little bits of your life at a time will be taken away from you. and you'll just have habitized to it because you don't really have a choice, because killing yourself is scary. So yeah, most people avoid it because it's scary. And it seems worse anyway than just, enduring another day of the whatever, the oatmeal. Ugh.
Middle of it. People have a tendency to blame things outside their control for causing all their problems, when in fact sometimes it's something within your control that's good.
Well, whatever that means. Yes, quite obviously it's all a stupid little head game, and you can delude yourself into anything. You can get addicted to anything, right? Theoretically. And so you just find something to get addicted to, some little ambitious game to play to say, this is what will validate my existence, is the accomplishment of this stupid task. I mean, apparently this guy's stupid task was being a food blogger. Yeah, well, that sort of had a, that sort of didn't have, you wouldn't say, well, yeah, that can run for a long, long time without being done with that pretty quick, right? I mean, it doesn't have the feel of, yeah, this is really good for the world, blogging about food. So yeah, it does have a limited, you know, gameplay. The gameplay is limited. You can't play that game over and over again without all of a sudden saying, oh shit, what the hell am I into?
Very wrong, but you just can't see it. If you recognized it was something you were doing that was causing you grief, you'd be able to fix it and get better results. But because you
Oh yeah, that's not really. You can recognize it, but just not have one clue how to fix it, because it's something built into your psychology. You know, you have these psychological things that are just dependencies, and once they're stuck in you, they're stuck in you. Okay, it's kind of like gayness or something. You're not going to just say, well, my gayness is kind of awkward and it makes my life difficult and uncomfortable, so I think I'll just be ungay. Yeah, you really can't do that. And there's a whole pile of our psychology, our neuroses, that you're not going to be able to fix. They're not going away. And some of them are just impossibly impossible if you try to add them up. If you try to do the math with them, you shove those fucking upside down crookedy numbers into the equation, there's no way you're going to come up with the answer equals 1. Now it's going to be some kind of horrible probability of you ever being happy, because you're never going to be able to mix that neurotic shit with anything normal and come up with an edible apple pie. About 14 metaphors in there.
don't have the whole picture. Nobody has a whole picture. You don't maybe have.
Yeah, there's all kinds of whole pictures, but yeah, we can have a more realistic perspective that we're just here because some idiot made a dumb decision, and now we're here to play some idiotic game where we compete with each other and try to get some sort of moment of, I'm satisfied with my condition in life. I don't know. Do you actually say it that way? I guess, when you're happy, yeah, you're just kind of oiled and greased, and you just say, oh, yeah, and you're just, you wallow in it. You don't even get any perspective out of it. And then it wears off, and then reality starts setting in again. The grinding starts grinding.
Have the experience or the objectivity or the mental stability at the
Oh yeah, right. All that shit is all what you optimists have, right? I mean, it's just such a dodge. Like somehow you've got the right answer, and the right answer is to endeavor to persevere. So one day you can have a glass of Kool-Aid. And yeah, it really is that. It's the Kool-Aid of really walking and talking pictures of Kool-Aid. I mean, it's just a fantasy film. Your life will not get better. You will just get old and die. You will not happily ever after. You will, holy shit, I had to watch the thing I love debilitate and die. Oh, what a fun thing that is to do. So you almost wish yourself on Valentine's Day not to be happy, not to find the one. Because if you do find it, she's either going to have to watch you turn to a piece of shit, which is going to be humiliating for you, or you're going to have to watch her turn to a piece of shit and die. Either way, it's not going to be any goddamn good. It's not going to have a good ending. It's going to have a catastrophe as an ending. I mean, if you bought the new car and they showed you the videotape of you driving the car, and it flipping upside down and crashing into the brick wall. I mean, if they showed you the future, would you buy the car? I mean, realistically. I mean, realistically, I mean, even if they took just the beginning, even if they took the middle out, you know, even if they took all the good driving years out, I'm just saying, I mean, would you really buy it with that ending if you knew that's the ending? And this whole life thing, we buy it because we don't really look at the ending. We don't look at the fact that it's not gonna, it can't work. You're talking like it can work because what? You happily drive in the convertible a few days, waving your hair, blowing in the wind, and everything's wonderful, blah, 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 blah. And the rest of the time, yeah, you're pushing the thing up a hill because something went wrong, or, you know, it's all high, life is high motherfucking maintenance. It's a fancy, pretty little thing when you're just looking through your own ambition and your own desire and your own addictions. But man, you know, there's just so much time you're just going to be spent pushing it. You're going to be pushing your life down the road, hard pushing, in the brutal sun and all that kind of stuff. In the rain, in the snow. You're pushing it in the snow. Oh, miserable, miserable.
Time to see it, then it's invisible to you, and all you have to blame for your unhappiness is the stuff that you can't change. So it seems like nothing's ever going to get better.
Yeah, whatever. It's a pragmatic, practical thing. This better word is just so stupid. What, the morphine will work a little better? You know, there'll be a new drug and it'll take away more of the pain, and that somehow makes all of this optimism talk make any goddamn sense at all. You know, I mean, life is just way too sloppy. And yes, you know, it's a little bit easier, I suppose, if you've got some stuff. But we know that, like I said, it's just stupid to say that everybody's super cool, because everybody isn't super cool. And it's just a drudgery to go through life, not one of those things. And I'm just saying that, I mean, all this optimism talk, what does this mean if I start taking things away from you? Things that are your identity, things that are precious to you in terms of having those things, because they give you some sense of control. And I could take those controls away, and then you'd still be listening to some asshole telling you, oh, it's okay. You can get through life with, you know, herpes, or whatever the thing may be.
You know, you might think I'm alone because I don't look good enough. Actually, it's possibly the belief that you're unattractive.
So that's a possibility, but it's absolute crack of shit, and you know it, and so that's just silly to be even saying shit like that, right? That, yeah, I mean, it just still silly. Yeah, it's silly. I mean, those are the overt ways you know you've lost the game. You know, is the overt contest that we're in. The ones that are just obvious. You can see it on the person's face, so to speak. Loser, winner, loser, winner. I mean, those are the easy ones. And then there's all the other contests. Oh, fuck.
It's making you unconfident and ill at ease with people. Or maybe you feel so down you don't go out at all.
Yeah, well, you all ought to be goddamn ill at ease. I mean, this whole ill at ease word, I mean, shouldn't we be just fundamentally at ease? Is there something to be at ease about? I mean, I don't want to validate myself and just point out that I've never been at ease on planet Earth. I've never found this an at ease circumstance. It does seem rather sloppy and haphazard, and deserve has very little to do with it, and what the fuck? Why would I play a game called Deserve has very little to do with it? And play it over and over and over again every fucking day. Ew. Ew. I mean, can't you just say ew?
And that could be the cause of never meeting someone, and yet still you're thinking, why is everyone else in relationships and I'm not?
Right, and if you're in a relationship, you're like, oh fuck, how do I get out of this mess? So yeah, it's not winning anyway. But yeah, we think we have to have it, and that's you're obsessed with it, and those obsessions are just, yes, that happens to people. So yeah, but what's the difference really? If they're not obsessed about that, then they'll be obsessed about money or obsessed about some other thing, and there'll be some other standard that says this is my validation standard. This is the good enough mark, and once I get over the good enough mark, then it's good enough. But is it really good enough? Because you're not going to stay there anyway.
And looks do come into dating, undoubtedly. It'd be naive to say they didn't. But they're not everything, obviously.
Yeah. Well, they are sort of everything from different points of view. I'm sorry, they just are as a practical fact. You can see it in the real world. You know, if we're going to talk about the real world and the people who have everything, they obviously make those kind of choices fairly easy. They just trade people in for newer models and all that kind of stuff, and it's just quite obvious. And so we can pretend that we like settling, or that settling is cool, but frankly, that's what most people do, and you can bullshit, but that's what they're doing.
Or you'd only get beautiful people falling in love, and that's not true. It's harder for some people to go on the dating scene and all that, but happily, life is unfair to pretty much everyone.
Right, so that's happily, yes. Yeah, yeah. Um, I don't even know it's unfair. I'm just saying it's a dumb game. I mean, the game is fundamentally broken, and so it doesn't really have anything to do with fairness, because you can't really make it fair if it's going to be a competition. If you're supposed to feel good about a beautiful piece of art, and so the beautiful piece of art should be something other than something that just, you know, that just fell out of your ass, so to speak. Um, you know, there has to be a standard for it to be something, to be exceptional, to be this, to be that. And so, yeah, if we're going to have if we're going to be innately psychologically built to be sort of obsessed with this exceptionalism shit, then it seems kind of stupid to even have a conversation about fair. Because obviously most stuff is going to fall below the line of acceptable or great or fantastic, and then once you're below that line, you're going to be struggling to get above it. So the water line is it's always going to exist, the water line, and there's always going to be a percentage of people that are below the water line gulping for air, and it just means you change the standards. Well, maybe society will change the standards and they'll only respect, you know, some other attribute of or definition of human accomplishment. But I mean, you know, clearly there is a standard that exists now, and you happen to be on the above the water level, the water line, talking to the people struggling and saying, "Buck up, hope, 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 have some hope. Yeah, hope you'll grow a new face." I don't think so.
In a myriad of different ways. So, you know, it's easy to feel I have it worse than others, but then somebody else, you know, if you have dyslexia, it's harder to get through school, isn't it? But you just have to employ more tenacity. And by the way,
why do you have to do that? Why? Because you people keep saying you have to, right? That's all. Because you just won't let it go. Because I guess you can't know your winners unless there's enough losers still walking around to, you know, make you feel good.
And with the depression, I'm not saying this in a spanking nanny way, like you got to try harder in your life, it's actually all your fault. I'm just saying it to point out that during times when there seems to be absolutely no hope, you have to believe.
Yeah, and what if those times are your entire 35 or 40 years of existence on Earth, and you just finally, it occurs to you that, oh, it's always going to be this kind of bullshit, isn't it? You know, and that then you might even be aware enough to know that even if I get what I want, it's not going to make me immune. It's not going to give me magic powers. It's not going to solve the problem. It'll just be another meal for the vampire. You know, yes, you'll feel good because you ate, but you're going to need to eat again.
Actually, there is, you know, there's a bigger picture that you can't see.
Yes, the bigger picture. That's what I wish people would talk about, this bigger picture. What is the bigger picture of this game we're playing? And what is it what is it a drawing of? What is it besides train wreck in the end for everyone? You know, sometimes horrific train wreck. But what is this picture actually a picture of? What is it? Why am I supposed to think this is a rocket that goes somewhere? That this is yes, this is winning. I have a good feeling. I won enough. That's good enough. It's enough. It's all worth it. Because I feel all comfy today.
Just one human. But out there is a path to a happier time for you.
Oh yes, a happier time. So the happier time. That's all. That's the picture. It's happier time. The crayons are drawing better. Yeah, or something. It's not too hot and it's not too cold. The porridge is just right. And then the bears come home and they beat the shit out of you.
which sooner or later you will stumble onto. And for some people, the bigger thing they
Yeah, that's right. You can always stumble onto anything. And that's the whole point here. We're just stumbling. We're just stumbling through a stupid existence, and then you fall down, and you get up, and you fall down, and you get up, and it's what? Who? Why? 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 Why?
believe in is God or spirituality.
Or some other lie. Yeah, okay. God, spirituality. Let's see what the other lies would be.
But it doesn't have to be anything profound. The bigger thing could simply be the friend who is telling you, you know, better is coming to you.
Yeah, you're going to win. You're going to win. The market's going up. The market's going up. Yeah. And so what if it does? Is this going to go down again? And eventually it's going to crash. Your life will crash. It'll burn. It'll stink. it'll melt. It'll deform. You will get ground up. Just another hunk of hamburger.
You got to try very hard to believe that, because
Yes, you got to try hard and believe that, and don't look for any easy solution like, well, if my consciousness seeks to exist, it can no longer be tormented on this ball of shit. Yeah, I don't have to be a bug anymore. But no, let's not concede that, yes, you might as well get out when the getting out is good. Minimize the wreck. Avoid the train wreck. And have the graceful exit instead.
messenger from the wider world that you can't see. And sometimes
Again, see what? See what? What am I supposed to, what life am I supposed to aspire to have? Will you give me the blueprint of the wonderful life that exists in reality? The guy or persons who have lived the exceptional life. And how many of them can you actually find where you'd say, yes, I want to live their life? Show me this. Show me this thing. This great life where you're not either a selfish son of a bitch asshole, and then you're happy, or you're just a general asshole and you might be somewhat happy, and where you die just right and everything just goes just right. I'm just saying these lives aren't that, you know, they're not that accessible. I mean, we know that the lucky ones are the ones just blown up in an airplane or something. That those are the lucky ones. They don't. Their life was going nowhere. They were going to get a cancer diagnosis in 6 months, and the luckiest thing that could happen to them is a terrorist blew their plane up and they died in a millisecond. I mean, fuck. Win-win. I mean, the terrorists are happy, and the person who's going to get cancer is spared the horror.
you just don't have anyone. You don't have a friend to be nice to you. And then you can simply have faith in time, which is...
Yeah, just, why don't you just keep cutting the parts off? Well, look, if you only have one arm, it's okay, blah, blah. Well, if you only have no arms, it's okay, but you still have your feet. And it's that left foot thing guy. He was really painting stuff. And you can do all kinds of things with your left foot. Fuck.
bigger than you, or in your older self, because as I get older...
Oh, yes. The older self is such a charmer. Oh, okay, here it comes. Here it comes. As I get older, this being said by some chick who ain't even close to the down, like, you know, she's still on the you know, the thing goes up and then it kind of wobbles a little for, like, the 30s. It's kind of wobbling. And 40, and then it really starts to fall off the cliff. But yeah, the cliff doesn't have like that sharp edge. It has a little bit of an incline, get you some speed going, and then it throws you onto the rocks.
So I get much happier.
Yeah, she's much happier. What does that word even mean? I mean, does anyone know how to make any sense of that word happy? Right now I'm having a pretty good time. I'm kind of happy. But so am I much happier? I mean, is my life all okay because I'm entertaining myself? This is kind of fun. I don't know. I don't know. Does that mean it's all okay? So if I get cancer tomorrow, it's okay because I was all happy. I was happy.
You become more resilient and able to feel joy and able to see things in a more philosophical sense.
So this is a philosophical sense. That was the, you know, that was, okay, I was going to make a response video anyway, but that was the one where you're just like, a more philosophical sense. So it's philosophically sensible to be caught up, to just sit there and engineer silly hope and faith in what? You know? I mean, the charity part is okay, but I mean, if your charity is, I will, I will insult you after you're dead, basically. Insult you as, oh, you got totally duped by your psychology. Oh, your psychology totally owned you. You know, so I'll just basically insult your last act in life. So not only were you buggered in life, but now I'll insult your final moment as being just deviant, maliciously malignant psychology. I mean, what if you knew that ahead of time? Yeah, so maybe that would be the way you could stop people from committing suicide, is just say, well, get philosophical about it and realize that everybody's just going to talk about what a whack job you were after you're dead. Jesus, you just can't win. Well, you can, sort of. I mean, the point is, at least he doesn't have to sit here and listen to you. So he's winning. Yeah.
When there's no hope, you can still hope that hope itself is going to turn up.
You can still hope that hope itself is going to turn up in the form of hopingness and hopefully and hopey and hope I and hopiness and hopalati and hopalati. That's probably a kind of food. The pain, the pain.
Go along on autopilot.
Yeah, this is great stuff. Wow, that's just great. Autopilot your way through life so you can take a warm bath in 15 years and say it was all okay. Maybe have some children. The children will do it for you.
Possible. And believe in time delivering you to a place where hope exists. You don't know what's around.
Oh, whatever. You don't know what's around the corner. Well, you can know everything that's around the corner, actually. You can know it pretty well statistically. You can know exactly what's around the corner. And frankly, you can see that around the corner is just going to be around the fucking corner. And that everywhere you turn, the big death guy, you're still going to be able to see him, okay, with his freaking little hatchety thing. He's going to fucking hatchet you. You are not going to live forever. You're not going to defeat the menaces that are going to squish you like a bug. You are going to be killed by your life, okay, and you may be killed in a most disgusting and horrible manner. And so you might as well do it first, because if you wait for life to get you, it's not going to have, it doesn't show mercy, it doesn't cut you a break, it doesn't do any of that shit. So you're better off taking control than waiting for life to get around to it. Hope, the hope, waiting for hope to do it for you. Hope doesn't have any mercy. Ooh, that's a good quote.
At the corner. And I believe hope will turn up.
Yes, hope will show you no mercy. Yeah, it is the sickest of the sicknesses. Hope. But go ahead and sell it, sister.
Things will come to you. Because, I've never found a perfect relationship, and I always thought that was going to be the thing that would make me feel better. Because the loneliness I used to feel, whether I was single or otherwise, I still used to feel lonely in relationships. And it used to invalidate everything. It was like, it used to make the world feel like a web page where nothing was loading.
Yeah, gee, I wish the worst of my life was that. No, it feels more like a vice, crushing your nuts. But yeah, I mean, I wish I could say it was just a web page not loading. It was just kind of tedious and, but no, it's really difficult to go through decades of loneliness. I mean, the hard stuff. But then again, like I said, nobody tells you that, wait a minute, having is not getting. That's probably another good quote. Having is not getting, yeah. Or maybe having is not owning, yeah. You're not going to own it. You're not going to possess it. Yeah, having is not possessing. Yeah. Anyway.
And everyone else is on super fast broadband. But then it's all changed as I've got older, and I wish I could have known that in the past, that one day you will somehow be able to feel pretty content.
Right, you go deaf and blind. Yeah, whatever, I don't know what's got you all happied up, but frankly, I mean, the world looks like a big pile of moving sludge. I mean, the whole human race is disgusting, and it only gets more and more obvious the longer I've lived. Is just you become more and more aware of just how horrid and disgusting and despicable this whole silly adventure is, and how gross and disgusting the organism called human is. And the more you look at yourself, the more you see about your own psychology, you're just saying, oh fuck, this was worth making? No, this is a stupid machine.
Whatever happens, and bloody hell, shit happens, like...
Yeah, well, yeah, but we're not going to worry about that, because that's a negative thought. And Barney the dinosaur says, don't be letting none of them into your brain.
I'm not going to tell you about my love life, because what happens is nobody can possibly give me any sympathy, because they're all crying with laughter, at some of the situations.
I don't get the joke. But whatever. I hated that show. I really hated that show. I don't know. What do you think we ought to do today, Silly? Let's have an adventure. Let's do something silly. Train wreck. Just even this. Ew. Condiments. People have touched them millions of times. They've never been washed.
And all my mum has to say is, you got to get someone who's not in the arts. Anyway.
You dated Ben Steinberg? Or whatever his name was.
And of course I've had unrequited love loads of times.
Oh, yeah, no, that was okay too. Yeah, no, that wasn't, it was almost like that was a warm enema. It wasn't a big deal. That was, it wasn't like my computer being a little slow to a little page. No, it was like a warm enema. It was bad, but not, it wasn't terrible, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I don't really get you. Yeah, that's it. Unrequited love is just, yeah, that's the one that sucks, though. And then you think about that yourself, right? Okay, I don't know if you've done this, okay? But I've done this a few times where I thought about it and I said, this is just so insidious, this whole triangle thing, of love. Because, yeah, you love somebody who doesn't love you, and then there's people who love you, and you got no help for them. And, I mean, that's almost, when you start thinking about it, that's almost even worse, because it makes you even feel worse about your existence, is that you did give hope to people, or you did give them a little taste of something they wanted in life. And that's all. You gave them one potato chip. You gave the person who went across the desert, you gave him a thimble full of water. Just nowhere near, just a taste of it, just to give them a memory of it and let them know, oh, there's water in the world. But no more. I mean, that's more depressing. More reason to do the right thing and just jump the fuck off a building.
It's the worst, I always think, because it's like Anne Robinson is saying, you leave with nothing. But then this is just part of...
Yeah, well, I mean, even this, you're just making it even worse, right? The humiliation isn't bad enough. I mean, she did get paid for it in the sense that she's on TV and blah, blah, blah. But yes, forever, you're the poster child for a complete loser. Fuck.
Being human, this is just the normal experience, and friendship.
More normal? No, fuck you. I mean, no. You cannot have a game and say, okay, this is going to be the rules of the game, and I'm going to call this part normal, and then I'm going to talk about people having children, and how this is all worth it, and that people should have this hope thing, and all this kind of crap. You cannot have rules that are ludicrous and then say, I'm defending it. I mean, that you really can't do. You want to pretend like you don't know it happens, well, then that's one thing. But don't tell me you know what a fucking... what the trap doors are all over the place, and then you're just going to tell people to keep hoping their way into another fucking disaster. I mean, that's just mean.
From that person is worth an awful lot. But love's like diabetes, you just got to live around it. And I always think...
Love is like diabetes. You got to live around it. So you'd have a kid if you knew it was going to have diabetes. You'd just say it's okay. Would you be like the claw thing if you had little claw hands? You'd go have a kid with claw hands too? I mean, how far would you go in terms of your ability to tell other people to just live with it? Yeah, live with it. Fuck you. I mean, that's just rude. I mean, it's just sort of obnoxious. No, fuck you. I don't have to do that. I shouldn't have to do that. Somewhere you people have to have standards. I mean, somewhere inside yourself, you got to be able to figure out there's got to be a standard. There's got to be a low you won't go lower than, isn't there? Is there some low you won't go lower than? I mean, how much of a cockroach's existence does somebody have to live before you'll cut them a break and say, yes, you're a loser? It would be a good idea to get the fuck out because you're never going to win anything that'll make up for your suffering. Is there any point where you'll concede this?
Don't be sad about this kind of thing because it shows you can meet someone who makes you feel amazing and somebody.
All right, well, I don't know if that ever happens in the real world. Do these people really do that? Is this what I'm really witnessing in the world? Is all these people walking around feeling amazing, or do I just see people cheating all over the fucking place and, you know, acclimating? That's feeling amazing. Acclamation. Oh, what an amazing feeling of the acclamation.
You don't know if that's going to happen again, and that person might be free, that person might be available.
Yes, and you can make sure of it, yes. You know, yes, maybe I can be a home wrecker. And, you know, the little kids will get abandoned by daddy and blah, 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 and it'll all be okay because I'm happy.
And something you can actually have. To stop yourself from dwelling on negatives that you can't change. My sister taught me this thing that you can only think about one thing at a time. So if you occupy your conscious mind...
Yeah, your sister. That's kind of hot, right? Yeah, sister.
And you can't think of anything else. And it's so true. I mean,
oh, yeah, right. I'm sure this little food guy could do that. Yeah, you know, he was just basically conceding the point. I'm not going to get a supermodel. You know.
It's not a case of...
Especially because I'm doing a food blog and supermodels don't like food anyway.
Doing a mundane task when your mind can wander. If you meditate or you think about something consciously, that really helps. And if you think about the things...
All right, well, whatever. All this little life advice stuff. I think what really helps is getting realistic and figuring out that life is going to kill you anyway. Plan for it. All right, be ready for when you're at a low. Get out because just get out when you're feeling comfortable. That the ride to death isn't as bad as the forever up and downy thing.
As you can control, you can do something constructive while you're trying to block out.
Yeah, well, whatever. Yes. Get re-addicted. Get re-addicted. Get re-addicted. Find a new addiction. Find a new addiction. Find a new addiction. Find a new. Isn't that all you're just saying? Find a new addiction. Your addiction level's too low. Get addicted to something. Yes, your addictions. You need to get addicted. You need to get addicted. Don't just give up. Why? Because I say so, and such. Yeah, really helpful.
Negative thoughts, and for me, working on liking yourself is huge because if you don't like yourself, it seems selfish. But
well, what exactly is there about yourself not to like? Jeez. Well, let's not even go into it. But anyway, that's just it's not very. It's kind of disingenuous coming from your type. But whatever. Let's jump ahead and finish up.
Realize they're not alone. Everyone has difficult times. But
right. That makes me feel so much better. No, it doesn't really.
This is what you never see on Facebook or social media.
What you never see on Facebook or social media is the fact that all the lives end in horrible disaster and that the whole thing is a pointless, stupid pursuit for which there will be no gratification in the end. And if people realized that their kids were going to die when they were having their kids, and if they imagined for a minute, well, I wonder how little Jimmy's going to die, then maybe they wouldn't have little Jimmy, but then they'd say, well, maybe I'll cut the kid a break and not give him leukemia.
That much. So if you want to, please comment below and share that with us. I'm sure it'll help someone.
Yes, I'm sure it will, because you're hopeful. But it's just very charitable. Buck up. Well, anyway, whatever. I mean, yes, if you're going to be here, you might as well, have some sort of delusions to get you through the day. But let's not call that philosophy. Let's call it what it is, psychology. She even said right here in the beginning that he needed psychological help. What? He needed somebody to lie to him. Oh, okay. He needed to have somebody, again, nag him into creating some sort of delusion that yes, it's all going to work out in the end. Ugh. No, I don't think so. So anyway, enough of a video, right? Oh, sorry, 40 minutes. Yeah. Anyway, Saturday. It's okay. See when I get around to posting it. It's probably really not worth it. It's really not much of a video, but whatever. Oh, so sick of this planet. She's cute. Yes. Anyway, enough.